A Democrat socialist running for Congress in Washington state, actually encouraging people to break into homes as a way to combat homelessness.
Imagine I proposed a housing for all bill in Congress. Then imagine you, me, and a million of our friends took action and occupied empty houses nationwide.
Fox Nation host Tomi Lahren joins us now. Tomi, she's suggesting breaking into homes to combat the homeless crisis. This is a serious problem. Is that a serious solution?
Well, this person also refers to themselves as a Democrat socialist, so I think that you know my answer to that one. But listen, guys, this also is the mindset of the radical Democrat Party, or at least the voices that comprise the majority of the radical Democrat Party and speak for the Democrat Party as a whole. They believe that if you don't have something, you might as well just take it. Now, the leaders of their party have made this nation unaffordable for most average Americans, but instead of advocating for affordability or things that would bring prices down, that would ease the actual homeless crisis and problem in states like Washington, California, and elsewhere, they believe if you don't have it, you might as well just take it. And forget all those Americans out there that bust their butts day in and day out to afford their mortgage, to afford their rent, to afford to fill up their gas tank in Biden's unaffordable America. These Democrats don't believe that those people matter. No, why not just be lawless and take what you want?
And that was serial liar Tomi Lahren bemoaning radical Democrats for proposing crazy ideas like housing the homeless? Lahren joined Fox News to attack Democrats for, as she said, forgetting those Americans who are busting their butts to afford a mortgage. But Lahren's anger seems to be causing her a little amnesia. That's because Lahren, a multimillionaire television personality known mainly for claiming she definitely is not racist, is hardly an example of anyone busting their butt to make a living. And in tweets from 2013, Lahren brags about getting her first job at 21 years old, a job given to her by her mother. When Lahren wasn't struggling to keep her talking points straight, she also found time to slam Democrats for encouraging crime. Why not just be lawless and take what you want, Lahren said. That's a strange change of heart for Lahren, who took to her Fox Nation show just one day after the Capitol riot to scold insurrectionists, not for attempting to overthrow an election, but for hurting Republicans' quote, very valid message that Democrats rigged the 2020 election.
But I never expected to be sick to my stomach over the actions of my fellow Trump supporters, especially when the day started off so beautifully with hundreds of thousands of patriots shoulder to shoulder in support of democracy, freedom, integrity, and our president. Our president, Donald Trump, who delivered a phenomenal speech filled with inspiration, patriotism, and a renewed call to action. A call to stop voter fraud and drain the swamp, not storm the Capitol and act like anarchist animals. Whether it was Antifa and leftist agitators sprinkled in, or truly just angry Trump supporters, I am appalled and disgusted by your behavior. You went to D.C. to represent the silent majority, those who couldn't afford to take off work and head to D.C. in the middle of the week, those who work hard, act decent, and love our president, those who are just as angry as you are, but are decent and respectful enough to act right. How the hell are we supposed to preach law and order next time BLM or Antifa riots, loots, and burns? They're going to look at us and laugh thanks to the behavior that took place yesterday. Now, unlike many on the left, I will not sit here and defend that. I will not call it justice. I will not call it civic duty. That was beyond the pale and an insult to our movement. Our movement isn't about tearing down barricades, attacking officers, and forcing our way into the Capitol. And if you think it is, you don't understand our movement at all. This movement is made up of conservative patriots who work hard, obey the law, worship the Lord, and respect the property, belongings, and well-beings of others. We only fight if we have to, and yesterday we did not have to. Storming buildings and destroying things is the lazy thing to do, and in the end accomplishes absolutely nothing. The moment we start acting like that, our very valid message is lost. Notice no one is talking about election integrity and voter fraud today? Your actions did that.
But it wasn't enough that Lahren took a baseball bat to those overprivileged homeless people. She also had some venom to spare for immigrants. She criticized Joe Biden for what she describes as a crisis at the southern border, and argued that times were better when Donald Trump was running the show. Except For one inconvenient fact, immigration policy is almost completely unchanged since the Trump years. Lahren let herself get so spun around on the facts that host Carly Shimkus actually took over Lahren's segment to lead her back to Fox-approved talking points.
And it's only going to get worse as our agencies are inundated. Title 42 ends, we're going to see a run on our border like we've never seen before, and I shudder to think who's going to slip through the cracks.
Yeah, and you know, Tommy, the Biden administration found a solution to this problem. It was called the Remain in Mexico policy, but the Biden administration is currently in front of the Supreme Court trying to fight it from being implemented.
And what's the excuse for that?
Lahren doesn't understand immigration, and she doesn't particularly care. She's just here for the circus. By keeping viewers angry at an imagined list of grievances, Lahren is hoping they won't notice that what she's saying doesn't actually add up. And sometimes Lahren's lies go far enough that even Fox has to disavow her. That was the case in 2019, when Lahren was forced to apologize for a tweet accusing then-Senator Kamala Harris of, quote, sleeping her way to the top. Lahren later said she chose the wrong words. A better explanation is that she simply got caught in a shameful and sexist lie. Tomi Lahren's attempts to vilify the poor and the homeless and the marginalized work because for most Fox News viewers, this is the only information they're getting. And it's clear Fox isn't interested in the truth. They gave Lahren a show even after her remarks about Kamala Harris. But it takes a special kind of cynicism for a do-nothing kid handed a cushy job by her parents to criticize anyone in actual need. With the midterm elections just months away and Republicans scrambling to keep the focus off their march into authoritarianism, Lahren and the far right are working overtime to keep viewers terrified and tuned in. Unfortunately for Tomi Lahren, Americans outside the Fox News bubble have access to her greatest weakness: a quick Google fact check.